here with week number 8 of the weekly charting series, where I go over 10 different Forex pairs, 3 different time frames: the weekly, the daily, and the 4-hour time frame. And I just give you a preview into what the week is going to do. So let's go ahead and get started with pair number 1, EUR USD. We can see last week's candlestick was a pin bar to the upside. That trend's been going on for quite some time now. We see multiple rejections to the upside. However, this has been trending upwards for a long time. So it's just something to be aware of. There is a deep crab pattern that's been valid since week 1. That completes way down here and doesn't become invalidated until way up here. So that's just something to be aware of. Taking a look at the daily time frame, I added a trend line. We can see that this has been trending, which I showed you on the weekly time frame. This has been trending for quite some time. So we're just waiting to see if which direction price is going to break out of. This trend line is a temporary trend line. If price breaks above this, more than likely it'll go to the weekly trend line, which is this one right here. However, if price does not break this and does break down below, I added a couple levels which we should see price at least slow down at, possibly reverse at. And going down to the 4-hour time frame, added some more levels. There are quite a few levels, and I also added another trend line. There's quite a few levels in this consolidation area. That's why I didn't draw a box. Normally with consolidation zones, I draw a box to show the consolidation, but with this it's a little bit difficult because you have this you would have this level right here, this level all the way down here, as well as these two levels that have been respected. So instead of drawing a box like I normally do around price, I added just some rays. I know that it kind of looks a little bit messy, but this is the best representation that I could give for this. So where price is right now, we're waiting to see if price breaks below this trend line, in which case, if it does, it almost will most certainly retest this trend line down here, if not break it. If it does break this trend line down here, we're looking for a retest and then a sell at least to this level down here, if not below that, because this has been trending upwards for so long. If it does not break below this trend line or this trend line, we're looking for it to at least retest these levels up here, if not break this trend line that was drawn on the daily time frame and break that level, the previous levels, and retest those levels, then continue upward, or hopefully if it does break to the upside, hopefully we're looking for a break of these levels up here as well. If it does break these levels up here, we'll be looking for a retest of that. It's just a retest of market structure before continuing upward to the weekly trend line that's drawn on the weekly time frame, which is up higher above where price is right now. So if you have any questions on EU, go ahead and drop a comment in the comment section down below. But we're going to move on to the next pair. Next up is going to be UJ, the weekly time frame. Last week's candlestick we see was a bullish engulfing candle that retested the EMA. That's the 8 EMA, the I guess salmon colored one. We're getting close to completing this Gartley pattern. However, with that bullish engulfing candle last week, we're kind of in between possible buys and possible sells. The controlling candle for this right now is this bearish engulfing candle that broke that trend line that's drawn. So I am still bearish on this, and I will be bearish on this for a while. It is trending downward on the weekly time frame, and it is showing us bearish movement right now. However, we did get the bullish engulfing candle from last week, so it could be bullish this week, and we'll get more into that when we drop down to the daily time frame. With the daily time frame, I added this level. That's just the level of the B point of this Gartley pattern. We can see that with this trend line drawn, we did get a bullish engulfing candle from news last Friday. So that bullish engulfing candle did engulf all of the previous price levels, right? That's a significant amount of last week's movement. and it did break this trend line. It also broke through both of the EMAs, and that's currently where price is sitting at right now. It's right on the 21 EMA. So for movement, we're looking for this Gartley pattern to either complete, or we're looking for price to break above this level, the B level, and possibly retest this trend line that it broke a couple of weeks ago. Looking at the 4-hour time frame, it's just more of the same. I've added one more trend line, which is just like a fan, if you will. So with this, like I said, with the daily time frame, we're either looking for a bearish movement to complete the Gartley pattern on the weekly time frame, or we're looking for more continued bullish movement. If we do get a break of this level, again, this horizontal line is the B level of the Gartley pattern, then we'll look for a retest of that level before continuing up, possibly retesting this trend line. If it does retest this trend line, that would be a break of structure on lower time frames, and so we'd be looking for possible breaks of structure on the daily and the weekly time frame, but that's a ways out, especially for the weekly time frame. So we're just reacting to what we see UJ do to start this week out. But if you got any questions on UJ, go ahead and drop a comment in the comment section down below, or shoot me a message on Telegram. Pair number 3 is going to be gold. On the weekly time frame, last week's candlestick was bearish but not engulfing. It is sitting right on the 8 EMA, and we can see that I have the horizontal line drawn that's been drawn for a number of weeks. This is a lot like EU, where it looks like it's been consolidating for quite some time. However, not last week's candlestick, but the week before that was bullish engulfing. So we're looking for this to go bullish still. It is possible that we could see this go bearish. If it does go bearish this week and engulf this bullish candlestick right here from 2 weeks ago, then we'll be looking for a retest of this trend line down here. But that's just something, I'm not sure what to expect with gold right now. Market structure is telling us that it's bullish, but with this consolidation, we're waiting for it to break out. Looking at the daily time frame, you can see the consolidation area much better. You could add a trend line from these 3 points if you'd like. But the arrows pretty much tell the story here. We're looking for either a retest of the zone, which this zone is based off of this candle right here. The reason why I draw this zone in the first place is because obviously we have multiple touches down here, but we also have many respected areas over here. So that's the reason why I drew the zone where I drew it. It's kind of a funny candlestick to base it off of, but it is valid. And so we're looking for this to either continue to go bearish, retesting the zone before going bullish. If it does break below the zone, we're looking for a retest of this trend line down here, which I already stated. And if it does go bullish, then we're looking for it to break this market structure over here and this market structure over here. If it does break above that, we're looking for a retest of that level and then a completion of this butterfly pattern. Looking at the 4-hour time frame, I've added another zone. This zone is basically to mark these 3 points and to show the significance of them. They are all 3 of them go, well, this one's the highest, next highest, and the lowest. And then this zone was drawn on the daily time frame as well. So price has been bouncing in between these 2 zones. If we get a break of this trend line that's drawn, then it should come down and retest this zone again. If it does not break this trend line, then we're looking for a retest of this zone. And like I have drawn, if we do get a breakout of this zone, retest of the zone, retest of this horizontal line that's been drawn for quite some time, and then a completion of the butterfly pattern. That's what I see with gold this week. We can see on the 4-hour time frame we do have some strong bearish candles. However, I'm not sure where this is on the retracement. Looks to be close to the 61.8, if not breaking the 61.8 already. So that's something to be aware of as well. The reason why I didn't draw that is because price has been consolidating, so I don't use Fibonacci retracements with consolidation. I wait for the breakout of this consolidation to trade it. I did add this trend line. You could trade the breakout of this trend line into this zone if you wanted. That's a small trade, but it is something to be aware of. However, for me personally, I won't be trading gold or EU until it breaks out of the consolidation areas. That's what I see for gold this week. If you have any questions, go ahead and shoot me a message on Telegram, or go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section down below. Thanks, guys. Alright, next up is EUR80D, the weekly time frame. Last week's candlestick was this pin bar doji. We did get very, very close to completing this bat, but it has not completed yet. So we could get a retracement to retest one of these levels, or even a retest of this trend line before that bat pattern completes. I don't recommend selling EA just yet. I think there is some more room for this pattern to complete, for the bat pattern to complete. But let's take a look at the daily time frame. Added a trend line, added some more levels so you could see it better. But this level right here is the completion, so we're looking for possible retest of this trend line before we see a completion. If this trend line does break, then we have these levels down here. Once we see the completion of this pattern, we'll be looking for opportunities to sell. If you want to wait and really be solid on the selling, wait for a break of market structure, we'll be waiting for a break of this trend line, which I don't expect to happen this week, or possibly even next week. We're probably a few weeks out from this trend line over here being broken. So yeah, we're waiting for the completion of the bat pattern before we sell, and we're waiting for a reversal off of either this trend line or one of these levels down here in order to buy. That's what I see on the daily. Looking at the 4-hour time frame, again, I've added some more levels. This is the same trend line from the daily time frame, and the arrows pretty much tell the story. We're waiting for a reversal off of any of these levels. These levels are all based on previous market structure, or we're waiting for a reversal off of this trend line in order to buy up to the completion of the bat pattern. So that's what I see with EA this week. EA is kind of in an interesting spot because it is very close to completing this bat pattern, although it has not completed yet. So personally, I'm waiting for opportunities to buy. But yeah, that's what I see. If you have a question on EA, message me on Telegram or leave a comment in the comment section below. Number 5 is going to be GBP NZD on the weekly time frame. We can see last week's candlestick was a very minor bearish candlestick. Looks like it's just retesting market structure, being this level right here. We could see some sort of retest of this trend line that was broken a few weeks ago, excuse me. And if that's the case, then we should see some bearish movement this week as well. We could also get a retest of this trend line over here, or the B level. Those all kind of line up in the same area. But we are looking for the completion of this bat pattern. Dropping down to the daily time frame, we can see last week's candlesticks really didn't move very much at all. Thursday's candlestick being the strongest bearish engulfing candlestick, so you know that's something to be aware of. But we see all of this bullish movement over here. Sorry for that. ESPN telling me that I have to follow something. Anyways, so we're looking at either a retest of this trend line down here before continuing upward, or continuing up to at least retest this level. If it does break this level, then we're looking for a break and a retest, and then a continuation upward to complete the bat pattern. Looking at the 4-hour time frame, I've added some levels in here where we could see price reject off of. So we're looking for either, like I said, bullish movement up until these levels, which is market structure over here that's not on the screen. If we do see more bearish movement, we'll see either a retest of this level down here or of this trend line down here. I really don't see price going all the way down here, but it's possible. So if that happens, we'll move some stuff around, rechart this up, and in the future future weeks. But like I said, I see this continuing to go bullish. Market structure is telling us that it should continue to go bullish. I don't have a retracement on here, but you could add a Fibonacci retracement and see where the Fibonacci levels are, and look for a reversal off of one of those, or like I said, a reversal off of this previous market structure at these levels, or a reversal off of this trend line, excuse me. But once these levels are broken, we'll be looking for breaks and retests of all of these levels. That's what I see with GBP NZD today. If you have any questions on GN, go ahead and shoot me a message on Telegram or leave a comment in the comment section down below. Alright, pair number 6 is going to be AUD USD. We can see last week's candlestick had movement to the upside and the downside. Just like the candlestick before it, it did close slightly bearish. This looks like it's a continued trend, so we do have multiple bearish engulfing candles. However, this is bullish. The trend on this is bullish, and so I've been staying away from AU. Honestly, I'm waiting to see if we get a retest of this trend line before buying, or just waiting for potential reversals on higher time frames to buy. But that's what last week's candlestick closed as. Looking at the daily time frame, added a trend line here. We can see the two EMAs are pretty well spread. Not well, I guess Friday's candlestick did retest the EMA, so we could see some more bearish movement to the downside. I was just kind of waiting and seeing with this. Like I said, I'm kind of expecting to see a retest of this trend line. If we do get a break of this trend line and a retest, then I would be willing to sell it. In order to buy, like I said, I either want a reversal pattern off of this trend line, or I want to break in a retest of this trend line drawn before buying up to this level right here. If we do get a break of this level, which won't be this week, but if we do get a break of this level, then we'd be looking for a retest and then a continuation up to market structure that's labeled. On the 4-hour time frame, we do have another trend line drawn that was broken last week, and then it did gap up and is currently retesting it. That's something to keep an eye on. I'm not trading this. I very rarely trade on Sunday nights. So this is, for me, it's more of just watching. This is bearish on the 4-hour time frame. The trend is bearish, excuse me. And so I want to see price get down to these levels, or down to this trend line, before I'm looking for opportunities to buy. And like I said, I'm really looking for a break of this trend line in order to buy as well. The one horizontal line that I added is just based off of market structure. These tests right here, we can see that price respected it a whole bunch, and then once it broke through, it retested it on multiple occasions. So I added the horizontal line just for that fact. But yeah, so AU waiting for a retest of this trend line, or waiting for a break of this trend line over here, whichever comes first, and then reacting off of what it does based on those touches. And that's what I see for AU this week. If you got any questions on AU, shoot me a message on Telegram, or leave a comment in the comments section down below. Pair number 7 is going to be GBP JPY on the weekly time frame. We can see that last week's candlestick was bullish again, but it is still rejecting this trend line that was broken 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks ago, and we've had every single candlestick since then retest that trend line. It just keeps going up with that trend line. So what was at first acting as support is now acting as resistance. So we're waiting to see what price is going to do with this. I am still bearish on this. I know that I've said that now for 5 weeks, 4 weeks, and now I'm saying it again for a 5th week, so 5 weeks now. But the reason that I am still bearish on this is because this trend line is still being respected. And as long as this candlestick is not broken and this trend line is being respected, I will be bearish on this. Now, if you wanted to, you could redraw this trend line, start with this point and draw it to these points and wait to sell it on the break of that. This is still bullish in trend. Right, we have not made a lower low yet. This is a higher low, so trend is still saying bullish, which is why if you are buying this, you wouldn't be in the wrong necessarily. But I'm not buying this. I'm actually waiting for opportunities to sell. I'm not in any trade in GJ right now, but I'm still waiting for opportunities to sell. On the daily time frame, this looks pretty messy because on the weekly time frame, it seems so clean. On the daily time frame, we see a bunch of strong candlesticks going back and forth right on this trend line. The arrows that I've added in and the trend line that I've added in, multiple trend lines now, honestly, but the arrows depict where I could see price going. We have to get a rejection of this this weekly trend line that's drawn at some point, and so I'm really waiting to see if it's going to reject to the upside or reject to the downside. Either way, I'll be ready for that, but that's what I'm currently waiting on, is just some sort of rejection. This zone is based off of market structure over here that you can't see, and this level is just based off of this level right here. So and then this trend line up here is one of the weekly trend lines. This is a daily trend line that I just added. It's not really all that strong, but I did want to complete this this triangle, if you will. So if this gets broken, I won't be trading off of a break of this trend line right here. So that's just something to be aware of. And then looking at the 4 hour, it's a little bit cleaner on the 4 hour. We can see price coming above and going below, and coming above and going below the same weekly trend line that's drawn. Like I said, it is a little bit cleaner to see on the 4 hour than it is on the daily time frame. It looks really messy on the daily time frame. These levels are all based off of market structure, so that's what I'm waiting for. You could draw a retracement from here to here and see where the retracement is right now. It looks somewhere between the 23.6 and the 38.2 levels. So yeah, we're just waiting for either a rejection of, or a break and then a retest, excuse me, of this level, or a break and a retest of this trend line to sell or to buy respectively. That's what I see with GJ this week. Let me know if you have any questions. So guys, next up we're looking at EJ. This is pair number 8 of week 8. So EJ is last week's candlestick on the weekly time frame was a bullish engulfing candle. However, we do have a rejection of this level that's drawn, that's based off of previous market structure. So it is engulfing. However, I would not be really keen on buying this yet, and I'll explain to you why on the lower time frames. So we can see this consolidation zone right here on EJ was finally broken to the upside, and then we had a bunch of bearish movement to the downside that broke below this consolidation zone, and that's where price is currently rejecting off of right now. So I probably will stay away from EJ this week because it's kind of giving me mixed signals. We do have this nice bullish engulfing candle right here, but like I said, we have this this level that was acting as the bottom of this consolidation zone and was respected multiple times over here. So it's kind of in a weird spot where in order for me to buy this, I'd want a clear break and retest of this level before going upward. And honestly, with this, looks like a break of structure to me on the daily time frame, right? So we have, this is a lower low, right? This would be the previous low, and so this is lower than that, obviously. But with this bullish engulfing candlestick right here, I'm kind of iffy on buying, or excuse me, on selling, and I'm also iffy on buying, especially right now. If, like I said, if I'm going to buy, I'm waiting for a break and a retest of this level. I probably won't sell this week. So even though I'm bearish on most JPY pairs, I still don't see myself selling this week. The EMAs haven't crossed over yet, which is a good indication that this will still go bearish. But again, I have a hard time selling this right now because of this bullish engulfing candle. Taking a look at the 4-hour time frame, we look at the last, I don't know, 6 4-hour candlesticks. They barely moved at all. I looked at this and looked at this and looked at this and decided that this was going to be all that I needed to put on this chart. I'm not going to sell if this trend line here is broken, even though I have the arrow downward, I need something significant in order to sell this right now. And adversely, I would need a strong break and retest, and then a strong reversal pattern off of the retest in order to buy this to this next level, because of the break of structure. So I do think that this is going to go bearish. However, this bullish movement right here is what scares me on the daily time frame. So I'm going to probably stay away from EJ this week unless I see something that sets up really ideal. And that's probably what I recommend for you guys as well. There's better JPY pairs to trade this week than EJ. But that's what I see for EJ this week. Let me know if you have any questions. Alright, pair number 9 is going to be UCAD this week. Looking at last week's candlestick, was this doji, if you will. It looks like a retest of market structure to the left, as well as a retest of this EMA, the 8 EMA. So nothing really significant on last week's candle. This is still bullish on the weekly time frame, right? We have this bullish engulfing candle and this one as well. So those two bullish engulfing candles are still significant. However, this is looking like it's trending downward, even though we have this lower low, lower high, higher low, and now a higher high. The movement up here is still bearish, so we have a minor break in structure, but overall this is still looking bearish to me. Looking at the daily time frame, added a zone that's just based off of this little, the top of this consolidations area right here, if you will, which price is currently in right now. Looking at the arrows that I have drawn, we're looking at this level being the bottom of that consolidation area. So if price breaks to the downside, we'd be looking for either reaction off of that back up into the zone, or a break and a retest and then a continuation down to retest this trend line down here, which has been retested multiple times, as you can see. If we do get a break to the upside, we're looking for either rejection off of this trend line or a break and a retest and then continuation upward. And that's what I see for UCAD. You can see that these candlesticks aren't all that significant. Just drop down to the 4-hour time frame. More of the same. This is the same zone that was on the daily time frame, so you can see price is not really doing too much of anything inside of this zone right now. It's quite literally barely moving. These are the same arrows from the daily time frame as well, so that's what I see. We're just waiting for clear-cut direction with UCAD. It is possible to see a head and shoulders on this, something like that, where we see price come back up, retest these levels over here, then come back down and possibly come down to these levels before going up or continuing downward. So that's something to be on the lookout for, maybe a possible head and shoulders if we see this level, the 1.3 level, being retested again this week, and then a clear-cut rejection of that level. Then that could be a good opportunity to sell on the break of the shoulders on this head and shoulders. That's a possibility. I'm not saying right now it's not set up to do that, so I'm not a predictor, right? I'm a reactor, but just something that could be on the lookout for with UCAD on the 4-hour time frame. So if you have any questions with UCAD, go ahead and shoot me a message on Telegram or leave a comment down below. And our final pair this week, AUD NZD on the weekly time frame. We can see last week's candlestick was this bearish pin bar. So we can see that we've had quite a bit of bearish movement over the past few weeks with AUD NZD, but it's been consolidating for weeks and weeks and weeks. And so now it looks like we've got some clear-cut direction. We might see some bullish movement come up and retest this EMA, or we could see in the future weeks, in the coming weeks, we could see a retest of this trend line drawn up here. Looking at the daily time frame, I added this zone. It's based off of market structure over here that can't be seen, as well as this trend line that's also based off of market structure over here that can't be seen. This is the same trend line. That's the same horizontal line. This is the same trend line from the weekly time frame. The arrows kind of tell the story here. We can see this clear rejection with this bullish engulfing candle from last week. However, we then saw a pin bar come up and reject the two EMAs. So we're waiting to see if price breaks through the EMAs, and if it does, come up and retest this level. If it breaks this level and retests it, then we're looking for a break of this trend line, and then a retest of that if it's broken. If it's not broken, then we'd be looking for sells coming down to retest this trend line. Adversely, if we do get a bearish movement to start this week out, we're looking for a retest of these levels. if this trend line down here is broken and retested, then we'll be looking for sells long term. And the 4-hour time frame, we can see I added some more levels. These two levels are based off of market structure right here. We can see this has just kind of been bouncing around. AN does consolidate often, but we can see that towards the end of last week, or excuse me, towards the beginning of last week, if not the end of the week before that, we saw this break and then a retest of this market structure right here. And so we could see some bullish, or excuse me, some bearish movement come down and double bottom in this zone. Or if we do see price come up and break and retest this, then I'd be comfortable buying up to these levels before selling. If this level is broken, then we'd be looking for buys again up to this trend line and so on and so forth. But that's what I see for AUD NZD this week. It's pretty simple. With AN, it does consolidate a lot, but it has a lot of really nice levels, so where you can follow price pretty easily. And so it is, AN's one of those pairs that you can buy to one level, and once it reaches that level you can sell down to the next level, and so on and so forth. So if you have any questions on AUD NZD, go ahead and drop a comment in the comment section down below. If you like this video, please hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, and I just want to take a second to thank everybody for the patience this week. Like I said, I was going to be out, or I was out all weekend. One of my buddies is getting married, so I spent the weekend with him and the bridal, or not, excuse me, not the bridal party, but the groomsmen, and we just hung out. We had a good time, and got back in late, and so had to take a couple hours to chart and then another couple hours to record these. So it is getting released rather late on Sunday, but I think I'm still within this Sunday time frame, so we are still on Sunday. Be on the lookout for some other videos this week. I'm going to start bringing more content. Do have a busy week ahead, but I should be able to get some more videos out to you guys. If you haven't watched my last video on the announcements, go ahead and watch that, because it does outline more of what I'm planning on doing this week and the weeks coming. But yeah, so thanks again for your support, guys, and your understanding with this week kind of being funny. I do appreciate it, and I do appreciate all the support. Again, if you have not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the like button for me, and all of my Telegram contact information is in the description down below. If you do want to follow these charts and anything else that I post, I do have a channel on Telegram where I post all of that stuff. So go ahead and follow that as well. But thanks again, guys. You guys have a great trading week, and I will see you later.